pretty men with pretty damn big swords. Those were my expectations for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I think that those expectations were pretty well met by the trailers and also the gameplay that we have seen. I mean, all of the characters look pretty nice. They all look pretty fantastic in my opinion, but I do still have some concerns for the game. Since we heard a lot of details, yet not enough details from Square Enix over E3, I did want to talk about a couple of the things that are on my mind with the episodic nature of the game and the possible censorship of not only characters, but scenes. I know a lot of people are worried about the same things that I am. So one of my first worries, and one of the things that came into my head that a lot of people have been talking about, is the episodic nature of the game, because this means that the game is not releasing all at once. It could be years until the game is released in full and is actually released completely, which really bothers me as an average consumer. But at the same time, they're trying to combat it, taking another 4 or 5 years until the release. Square Enix went for a more modern-day reimagining with this project, and I do not think that this was necessarily a bad idea, but I am a bit worried that maybe they just bit off more than they could chew here. This game is so much more expansive than it originally was that maybe they just went all in and this could turn out less than amazing. I'm not necessarily saying that that will happen, but it is just a general worry at this point. So we do know at this point that the physical version of the game, or what is created that will release in March, will be on 2 different Blu-ray discs and will be comparable in length to other full Final Fantasy games, as they said, and we do know that the first of the episodic releases will be in Midgar, which only represents the first few hours of the PlayStation original Final Fantasy VII, which is interesting that they are adding so much length to that. I mean, they are adding so many more small details into it, they said. That is just an insane length of time that they added on to this game. And they did say that they have been expanding a ton on the original game's plot by adding in many new chapters and possibly new characters. They have not said a lot about new characters since there is still so long to go until it actually releases, that they probably want to leave a little bit up to the imagination, and then it will give them more to kind of spoil in different trailers and whatnot. But there is talk about there being new characters right now. But the original director of the original Final Fantasy VII and the producer of the remake, Yoshinori Kitase, said in an interview and said over E3 that it could be years until all of the content is actually released. That is how expansive and how many details they have really added into this. Years. He predicted possibly, and other people have predicted possibly 4 years until it is all out. And that is not from now, that is from the March date when it releases. He did say at E3 that this first game in this project expands on the story of Midgar and is such an elaborate retelling that it has become a solid standalone game in its own right. But all that we know right now is that it will not fully release as a single and fully complete product when it launches in March, and it could be a very long time until it is all released. So that, to me, as a consumer, kind of turns me off from initially purchasing it in March when it releases. Now, if you are very excited for the game, of course, you are going to want to purchase it straight off release. You are going to want to play what is there. But to me personally, I do not like when I purchase a game and not all of the content is there. Look at a game like with DLC. I personally wait until the complete edition or the deluxe edition is out that contains all of the other content, like a Game of the Year edition. I do not like playing up till a certain point and then it just end off, having to wait who knows how long, because they did not say what the schedule of releasing content is going to be. So you could play what is there in March and then have to wait another 2.5 years for the rest of it, which seems good and bad, because it's good that they are giving it enough time. They are not fully rushing it. I'm glad that they are not rushing the contents of what they are creating, but as an average consumer, we've already waited so many years for this remake, or this reimagining, you could call it, that why would we want to wait another couple of years? But at least we do not have to wait the full 4 years to get anything. but at the same time, I personally probably wouldn't purchase it until all of the content is out. Now, another one of my worries, of course, is censorship. Censorship of not only characters, but of scenes as well. Censorship is always something that is on my mind, and with the discussions that have really surrounded this game, censorship is something that I am pretty worried about. One thing that so many people are not worried about, and I do not know why, is the cross-dressing at Wall Market, where you have to collect a dress, a wig, perfume, lingerie, a tiara, and makeup for cross-dressing Cloud. The nature of this process that you have to go through to get Cloud to be chosen is absolutely hilarious. And then you have the hot tub scene, which is something to be cherished forever. And I really think that it adds to the comedic value of the game back in 97. Having that comedic value around these what could be very heavy topics was really good, and it did really add to the game, but I could see them removing these things because it could be too offensive or too bothersome to specific people. But those people are probably the same people that are saying Barrett is a stereotypical black man, but honestly, if those people are asking like something like the cross-dressing scene to be removed from the game, they probably do not appreciate what the game is or what it was. How groundbreaking it was back in 97 when it released, and how hindsightedly progressive it was, but these things may be censored, and that is something that people should be aware about. The producer did say that they are hoping, now he said that they are hoping to not remove these scenes, but that leaves a whole world of difference to be analyzed. They still could release it, but they still could remove it. Who really knows? I know that they want to keep to as many original aspects to the original Final Fantasy VII as they can, but do keep in mind that this is a reimagining in a way, and these scenes could easily be removed. Now, if you have not seen one of my previous videos, it will be linked in the cards, but I have already talked about Tifa and my general thoughts and opinions on Tifa, and I did talk about Aerith when she was kind of released. I think that all of the characters do look pretty good. I love that the designs that they went for them, and I do of course love the character models, but it was said that the character designs could change. There's still so much time between the release and also what they're doing to kind of tweak the game that things like the character designs could still be changed. Now, what we have seen, of course, is what they're planning on going for, but they could change it, and that to me is a shame because I think that all of the characters do look very good. I know a lot of people are still pretty iffy on Tifa, but overall, I do like the character designs, and these are my worries for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. What are your worries? Please feel free to use the comment section as a discussion zone. Feel free to voice your opinions on the censorship of scenes, of characters, of the episodic nature of the game. What are your opinions on what we know for Final Fantasy VII's Remake currently? If you enjoyed this video and my thoughts, please make sure to give this video a like, and of course, if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either which way. Consider supporting the channel via Patreon. It will be linked in the description if you are interested in checking out what we offer on Patreon. But I hope that you guys did enjoy this video, and I will talk to you guys again in the next one really soon.